What up, y'all? It's Murph the Kenzo, Murph for 20. Call me what you want. Just don't call me for fronts. Late for dinner. Murph the Kenzo is on with critical thinking and common fucking sense. As rare as that shit is anymore. Join in DayOnes today. You with DayOne on DayOne if you rock with the family. So guys, today I want to speak a little bit on something I'm noticing in a lot of different avenues, music, pop culture as in a whole. But this new whataboutism, as I want to call it, whenever someone is confronted with something they've done wrong, rather than accept the fault for that, they, what about? Well, I did this, well, what about? I mean, in the streets we call it dry snitching. But, you know, I murdered somebody, you're worried about me murdering her? Well, what about him? He murdered somebody last week. There's a lot of that, people making insensitive comments, and then they go right into the, other struggles, rather than, dealing with their issue head on. Other people in pop culture not necessarily standing by their word, what they represent, what they say they represent, and then when confronted about it, it's, well, what about this guy? What about that guy? What about, And then, I just pose the question to myself, and as a whole, is where does the growth come in? Where do, to evolve, to grow, where does that growth come if you're never acknowledging the problem to start with? If I'm saying, I might have, they're not even saying I know I fucked up, but they're not even acknowledging that. They're going straight directly to, well, what about? For example, if someone's out here making insensitive comments, you should be speaking of the struggles you represent before you need it as a rebuttal. Not necessarily as, oh, okay, well, I fucked up here, but what about when y'all fuck up here? Where's the resolution coming in there? I don't understand that. Also, again, like I said, we're seeing in pop culture, move by this code, move by this moral code, and the people, those keystones in that group that are the ones that are telling us that these are the rules, are clearly breaking the rules. And when confronted about it, it's, oh, well, you do this too. And you're seeing a lot of this in hip-hop, I would say, to both points. And like I said, these struggles should be represented all the time, not when it's convenient for you. And again, how do you grow? How do you grow or evolve? You're not accepting the blame. You're passing the buck. So, whataboutisms, as I call it. Like I said, dry snitching. I might have robbed you guys for $1 million, but what about him? He robbed you for $2 million. Pass the buck. So, I think it's something that as we mature, as we grow, it's something that we need to focus on. Accepting our faults, our blames, and not trying to push the buck off on someone else. And if you are a multi-platinum selling music artist, if you're a prominent member in a community, music gang such as that, you need to stand by your word. You're one of those keystones for a reason, and you don't get to, what about? No, you need to stand by your shit. So, you fuck up, and this, quote, cancel culture is after you for what you do. You don't get to just say, oh, well, what about? No, what about what you fucking did? How about that? Because that's the problem, what you did. So, with that being said, this is my little tidbit, my little opinion. Opinions like assholes, everyone got them, and they all stink. So, you ain't got to listen, but if you do, I appreciate you. Kenzo, L.